we streaming right
Yeah,
now?
we're streaming week 5, I think, of the GC LOL. Or I guess it's the Peach Belt Georgia, the Peach Belt Esports, but
Peach Belt Esports, Georgia College League of Legends, Game 5.
yeah, but this is the GC LOL. This is the GC LOL Esports is what this is. All right, so I'm Jason Ridgely Thornton, Zibby326. This is Ethan Corsia Omer. What's up? What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing today? Welcome to our stream.
Yeah.
This week it looks like we are not dealing with the technical difficulties that we had last week.
No, we should have a picks and bans up, and there it is. A little poorly cropped, but it's up there nonetheless. So, few first bans coming in. I mean, the Zaya, the Nar, the LeBlanc. In the few games that USC Aiken has played, actually, it's looking like they win a lot of their games through the bot lane. But we'll see how that goes.
From what it's looking like, looking at the pregame stats on their players, we can see that they actually focus a lot on their one tricks, which are people who focus on playing just specifically one character.
And speaking of one tricks, Kyle, our top laner, and Nick Delore, the captain, had some words to say about, winning last week against USC Pembroke and then coming into this game against USC Aiken. Here's that video.
Pretty much, I think we just out-rotated them, to be honest. They weren't very organized with what they're doing. And because, I don't know what they were running, to be honest, because they tried to out-split push us, and then we just, team fighted and, took their whole base. That's pretty much, the whole scenario of that.
Yeah, coming out with a win against UNC Pembroke, it really just felt like any other win. We kind of just went in, did what we were going to do, and came out victorious. Is pretty short. Yeah, 2-0 last week. Everybody was just feeling good about their roles, and everybody was just playing well. We really just came together as a team. Everyone really put on their game faces. Everybody played their best, and it really just helped us a lot.
For USC Aiken, they have really strong teams, but I think we scouted them really well, and they have a lot of people that play. There's one tricks, so they're basically like me, sort of. So if we ban them out, I feel like we just get the advantage over them. Because I'm the only one trick on our team, so they can only ban me completely out. You know what I mean? So I think we can win just with bans and picking a better team.
Coming in today, really everybody just gotta work the best they can. Everybody's just gotta do what they know they need to do. We're gonna have to work together as a team probably harder than some of the matches that we've already played. Other than that, I've got huge faith in my team. I know that they're gonna do what we need to do, and if we can pull it off, I think it will be pretty easy. I think with the 2-0 victories, we're pulling in a lot of them. I think it just goes to show that GC, we're not to be messed with.
Pretty much.
Welcome back. The Aurelia, Ethan, you want to go ahead and elaborate on why this Aurelia pick is so important for us, actually?
So our top laner, Kyle, is an Aurelia one trick. He is playing as Ducarius, and he has very infrequently, I believe this being the second time out of any of the games that we have played, including the preseason from last year, gotten Aurelia. So it's a pretty crucial pick for him. It's the champion that he climbed to his current elo with throughout many seasons, and that he's a hardened veteran when it comes to Aurelia.
Oh, yeah, if you get him talking about Aurelia, you can tell he gets really excited really fast. I mean, Aurelia is a pretty big deal for him. So, I mean, I don't want to say that it's an automatic game one, but, I mean, that's as good as a matchup as we're going to be able to get all season in the top lane.
It's a very strong pick, but the Gangplank counter is actually really good. When he eats those oranges, it will cleanse. That is his W, I believe. It will cleanse the stun that Aurelia brings, which is already sort of RNG based. RNG being just essentially not random chance, but not 100% guaranteed like most other champions in this game are. And Aurelia has been kind of previewed to have an update upcoming at some point. They haven't really released it when. That's going to change her mechanics a little bit, so it's going to mess up Kyle's playstyle just because.
Oh yeah, but I just can't ever see Kyle not playing a ton of Aurelia. He loves Aurelia.
I wish. Do we have his mouse pad? Usually his girlfriend brings a mouse pad, and he has. Do you have Kyle's mouse pad, the Aurelia one?
Is there an Aurelia mouse pad?
Yeah, it's an Aurelia mouse pad.
It's rumored to be an Aurelia mouse pad. Can Victoria confirm? Well, he locked in Aurelia, so only Aurelia mouse pad. He should be playing really well today.
And just to go over the bans right here, Georgia College has banned Jarvan 4, Malzahar, Zyra, LeBlanc, and Nar. Both of these are very good, especially that Nar ban.
Well, I know in watching, you're not watching, but looking at the statistics from the other USC Aiken games, I mean, Zyra was a priority pick for them, as well as Nara. He's been picked twice, and I think he's been picked in both of their wins as well. So USC Aiken I guess it makes sense for Georgia College to go ahead and ban the Nara and the Zyra away. So
Yeah, the enemy's support X plays has been a Zyra one trick for pretty much the entire time, with having, I believe, like 54 games on her last season, and the next most out of anyone being like 8.
Oh, John got
So, yeah, so you can see our team is actually pretty impressive. Lulu, Varus is going to be an extremely deadly comp. So in the second year, you're going to see that they are going to start switching roles right after USC Aiken picks their last pick for the game, and going to USC Aiken's ban, they have banned Zyra, which is one of Nick's favorite champions, but in the pregame discussion, it was determined that Nick was actually going to pick Varus to counter pick something that they would typically pick, and they banned Gallia, which is one of John's most played mid laners, and Corky and Syndra. They are extremely heavily pick banning.
Well, I mean, to be fair, John has played really well this split. I mean, looking at some of the statistics, I mean, he is carrying the team in damage percentage, and you know, he has played all 6 games, so these are full statistics, not counting the last week's games. But he's leading in damage. He's 3rd in the PBC and KDA. Like, John is definitely carrying his weight in the mid lane. He's doing everything he's can.
Very, very experienced mid laner, and having known him for multiple years, I can say that I've seen him come up with, especially Corky and Syndra. Those were his champions as he was coming up. And they picked Orianna, and that is another one of John's favorite. You can see Orianna taking Cleanse. What Cleanse will do against Zoe is when Zoe hits her sleep, instead of allowing a free damage ability, you can cleanse that and dodge. So it just adds a little bit more to the counterplay aspect.
It's always going to be fun to watch. That's going to be an exciting mid lane. The Orianna isn't exactly the most thrilling early game mid laner, but, I mean, it'll be fun when she gets 6.
The team fight potential of Orianna is just disgusting, and we can see a lot of global alts too on USC Aiken, where we have Gangplank
and you got
the
Jinx.
Excuse me. Jinx being the enemy's bot laner, and Gangplank being the enemy's top laner.
I mean, this is looking like a pretty even picks and bans, honestly. I mean, I can't really say that. I think your bot lane on our side is a little bit more safer. It's a little, especially pre-6. I think that, you know, USC Aiken is going to be able to push all their advantages with all the aggression they're going to be able to have.
But that Lulu is just such an oppressive lane. Lulu will turn any bot laner and turn them into an aggressive bot lane. But same goes for Thresh. If Thresh lands a hook on Lulu, that could be devastating. Lulu's very squishy. As much as she brings to the table, it's as weak as she can be. Being actually one of the few champions in the game with more than 4 skills, being able to use her abilities in multiple manners, allowing her to not only shield and increase attack power, but also polymorph, which turns them into a little animal. I'll mention it later once she has done that. And then also damage and slow, which is, it gives her an extreme amount of diversity in her kit, and also increases her skill cap by a lot. So, depending on how Noah does today, Noah playing green screen.
Yeah, Noah's one of the 2 people that are playing on the team today that actually aren't at GC today. They're playing on the road. We got Anthony, who's playing somewhere in Atlanta, I believe. And I don't know where Noah's playing, but I know they're not on campus playing today. So hopefully the internet will definitely hold out for him. That's always a concern. But
one major reason that Noah is not here is he's actually sick and didn't want to infect the rest of the team. So
Noah taking
the
big L. But we're going to catch a W today. So
you gotta respect what he's doing, because nobody wants to get sick.
No, especially not this time of year.
And while we are waiting for the spectator delay for our Georgia College viewers, I'd like to say I hope you all had a great time at the homecoming concert this weekend.
And the basketball game, the girls won.
The girls won.
The boys not so much, but the girls basketball team won.
Hey, don't knock the WNBA, man.
No one's doing that here, man. Our girls are actually pretty good. Shout out to the baseball team too. They're playing pretty well.
Our baseball team's doing really well. I believe last weekend they won on Friday. I was talking to a kid named Eric in my chemistry class, and he told me they won one game, 21-0.
That was the first game, actually.
And then the second game was like 7-0.
The second game was, yes. These are both facts, confirmed facts.
These are pretty phenomenal plays by both of our teams. Georgia College being a D2 school, so
I mean, we think about this though. If GC Lowell wins, we won Friday night, and then the girls basketball team won Saturday, and then the other boys team didn't win. We can potentially come out of homecoming weekend 3-1. You know, Georgia College, if GC Lowell can pull out the second win.
And I personally think Georgia College is going to win this game.
Oh yeah, I mean,
based on the scrimmages that we have had with USC Aiken, it sort of is leaning to the fact that Georgia College is going to win. As, if I'm not mistaken, I do not think we've dropped a single scrim against them.
I don't know anything about the scrims, but I do know that USC Aiken has had a pretty easy 2-1 schedule as far as because they did get USC Pembroke, which GC did, but GC's now 3-1. I don't know what UNC Pembroke did on Friday night. So, I mean, I don't really know how much who they played. Is it like Augusta? Have they played Augusta? They lost to North Georgia? You know, who's supposed to be another talented team. So, I mean, maybe USC Aiken almost hasn't won in a month either.
Well, from what I know, North Georgia is 3-0 right now. I believe they're leading the Pac-12
Yeah, North Georgia,
Conference.
before Friday, then there were games played on Friday. North Georgia was number 1 in the conference at 3-0. And then Augusta, who beat us 2 weeks ago, I guess now would be what it is. They beat us, last week. They're 2-1. They're second.
Us last week.
Columbus is also pretty good, and then Francis Marion is right above us at 4th, and we were tied for 5th with USC Aiken. So this, depending on what USC Aiken did previously, this is a pretty big game for us, depending on what they did on Friday.
And now the game is loading in, and just to give you a final rundown on the champions, we can see that Kyle is playing Ducarius in the top laner. He is Aurelia.
Hey, go Kyle and Aurelia.
Good for him. It has been a minute since he's been able to play her. We have Anthony on Changeling playing Bear Calvary Sejuani. It's one of my favorites. That is pretty cool, actually.
And Sejuani's she's a good jungler for the meta right now. She's always kind of strong. She brings a lot of CC to the
tanky, a ton
table.
of CC.
Exactly.
Extremely strong and viable against heavy AD teams because she does have a passive that will give her roughly about 800 armor. The general armor level being people usually have around 200, so it gives her an extreme amount of armor. And
An early game pause. Our favorites. This pause sponsored by
Georgia College, LOL.
So as they're getting ready, actually, we're trying to wait out this pause. Once this pause ends, then we'll be officially getting into the game. But you were going over the starting lineups. Why don't you keep going over what we got?
So back to where I was. As I was saying, Anthony is Chengling playing Sejuani, and then we have John Bills playing Zoe in the mid lane. Obviously, he's Emperor John. Nick playing Delore, his last name, and he is playing Varus. And we have Noah on Lulu. He is green screen. And for the enemy team, we have Amber Lights, who is playing Gangplank in the top lane, followed by their jungler Jax XX Cookie XX. That sounds like an Xbox 360. They might have another 12. And then we have Oriana in the mid lane, the color yellow.
That's a good one.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with it. And Saki OG being their AD carry bot laner as Jinx. And finally, we have Thresh, Easy Plays as their support. And the game is loading in.
All right, so here we go. They're taking their whole team in there.
It looks that we may be going for a little bit of a cheeky invade. And Lulu, not really expecting this, may get caught
why would
out.
you be expecting the whole team?
Sees them trying to come in, backs off, not going to go ward that bush as they do not know or have vision that the enemy team has backed off.
How do you make it soft? All right. Well, that could have been bad actually for the Lulu. Had Lulu not been paying attention there, she could have got jumped in that bush by all 5 members, depending on what the Thresh hook. Even if he would have took his E or his Q, really, he could have put the Lulu in a lot of danger there.
Yeah, we can see just a typical start here. Both teams starting on their bot side, where Georgia College being the blue side and USC Aiken being the red side. Just a typical game start. No invade. They attempted the invade, got caught on it, and decided to back off.
All right, so we're gonna get the red start. Are they as well gonna get the red start?
They're getting the blue start.
All right, so they're doing the blue
And
start. So
the team is getting the
both will
blue
be getting a
start.
lane on the bottom side. I mean, not late, but not right on time.
John taking a little bit of poke off the bat. CS numbers looking about even already. John missing actually 1 CS in that first wave, which isn't too crucial, but still.
I mean, and John is actually doing probably him and actually Nick, and then in the top lane, Decarius is actually kind of farming kind of well.
You see
So
a lot of poke actually right
they're not the discrepancy between them farming isn't that big of a deal in our team between top mid and bot, but Nick, I mean, Emperor John in the middle lane, he's CSing the best probably, and he also has the biggest CS differential.
Yeah, traditionally he has, and right now we can actually already see that he has already doubled the enemy laner CS, which is, you know, quite a lead right off the bat.
Yeah, that's a good
bit
start.
less than double, but you know the enemy laner is struggling to get, you know, the CS necessary. He's playing Zoe so he can get those cheeky little Qs, which is where he'll throw his ball over the wall out of the enemy vision and can just walk up and throw at full speed. We can see an early gank coming in the top lane. Stun, a flash knockup, and the flash by the Gangplank. Actually very good for us. A jungler flash for a laner flash, which allows Kyle to play a little bit more aggressive now.
Wow, what an exciting little bit right there. I mean, getting the summoners out is a big deal. That's actually
Very
no
quick,
joke.
very strong in the early game, and we can see Anthony clearing the Scuttle Crab. Sejuani doing massive damage. That ward right there, actually potentially coming in. We can see that Jax is clearing our crows. A little bit.
Oh
of a
man,
jungle
who can get
invade.
the birds? That's actually a mini game inside the game. You
It's
know,
a
whoever
little-
can kill the most birdies for the jungle
Yeah, it
camp.
is. No, it is. It is. You can see a gank potentially coming in.
Yes, the
John with
flash.
the zoning, the
Oh, we're
flash,
gonna get the flash. Another flash.
the cleanse, and a phenomenal play. John
Oh.
picking up a flash. Zoe has those little moves. Jax just completely clearing out our jungle, seeing that we have jungle pressure.
Well, it's okay. I mean, the way that Anthony's extending that jungle pressure, he's going top lane, he's getting the summoners down, and then going the mid lane, getting both summoners down. Actually, I mean, I'm gonna let the Jax, you know, take our Krugs here if we can keep this like the pressure that we're keeping up with Sejuani. Like she's been amazing.
They're deciding to trade jungle pressure in the ganks for the CS in the jungle, which is a pretty typical trade to be made. When you're an enemy jungler and you see your lanes are getting ganked, you know you have full opportunity to clear their jungle and prevent them from CS.
Uh-oh.
Jax
Is
actually
Jax in
getting
trouble
caught
here?
out.
Does the bot lane pay
Jax
attention?
flashing over the wall.
It might not be
There's
enough.
Nothing.
If
John
John's paying
actually not
attention.
rotating down.
If John's paying attention.
John rotating down. Potentially he have vision of him, but he may be slippery enough to get away.
Yeah, it looks like the Jax is going to get away there, but he almost overstayed his welcome in our jungle.
That is 3 flashes for 1 right now. So we are very far ahead early game on the summoners. Kyle going in strong, doing a ton of damage. This Gangplank does not have flash. Not much he can do here. A lot of damage taken.
And
He
here's my thing:
does have
even
those
if
potions
there's
ticking.
similar elos, him and this other top laner that he's going up against, Kyle's Aurelia is his most practiced champion. So even though the matchup might be slightly favored to the Gangplank, Kyle's mechanics on the Aurelia are going to make up in his decision making probably as well for that.
Yeah, no, you're very right. You're very right. And Gangplank being a pretty weak champion early game, as long as Kyle is able to sort of suppress him, that was a big chunk of damage on that 80 carry from Lulu. On a side note.
Lulu's very annoying to lane against. I mean, you kind of talked about it
Very
earlier.
impressive.
Yeah.
And we can see that Gangplank having to back, Kyle freezing that wave, forcing that Gangplank to overextend. He doesn't have flash, so he's going to miss CS here. It's going to bounce off of our tower. And honestly, this is not looking good for that Gangplank. He needs to focus on keeping his CS numbers up, especially in the early game. Jax leaning topside, but so is Sejuani. Getting vision, throwing down a pink. Very good. Vision control is always extremely necessary, and it does win games. Now, John being up ahead CS, Orianna actually getting hit by the
Oh, Orianna has a
sleep.
flash here.
Orianna.
No cleanse here.
Not much Orianna can do. Getting stunned, and that is a first blood for our jungler.
Oh, it's Anthony coming in with the first blood. I mean, that was all set up from the early game, though. I mean,
The
the
early
pressure
game
that he was
pressure,
able to
yes.
extend and burn the flash and burn the cleanse. Orianna is a very low mobility champion, meaning that in her kit she doesn't have a lot to escape. So if you burn her flash,
She's done. She has
Exactly.
nothing. So she actually burned cleanse and flash, so she had no summoners on that gank. And there was really no way for her to get CS. So you can see that Gangplank kind of getting zoned off the CS here. but that is a pretty big wave. Gangplank being a pretty good champion to try and CS under tower. As he
Oh, is John trying to roam top?
can throw those barrels. Yeah, we do see a roam top, and we see that they both have flash. This would probably be a little bit risky as Sejuani is not here. They do not have vision, so they don't know that we're actually there. John potentially going to pick up the scuttle on the way back. Maybe not.
I think John got caught up with the pink there, and even if he didn't
You
get
can
caught up
see a
with the pink
gank
there,
coming into the bot side. Thresh not really throwing a hook yet, making him feel a little bit safe. Jax leaning towards the bot side, throws a pink ward down in the bush, but we had another one not in the tri-bush that gave us that vision, and that's what I was talking about, that vision control in a game being so crucial. And we now see that the Jax trying to clear this scuttle. John missing his thing, but zoning.
the Sejuani's
And
there.
there goes the jump. There goes the jump. Jax missing the stun. Orianna having her ult, being able to do a lot of damage, but still.
Georgia College wise not to overextend there and try to take the Jax. I mean, they definitely could have tried to fight the Jax there, but the Orianna, like you said, with the ult coming in,
It's just
I mean,
extremely, extremely deadly.
they're going to win that fight.
Neither of them having, neither of the Sejuani having any magic resistance at this point in the game to kind of mitigate that. We can see a small engage going on top lane. Kyle still consistently out CSing this Gangplank. Gangplank actually going kleptomancy, allowing him to get biscuits and extra gold. You can see in the bot side they're getting pushed in a little bit, but
The bot side's been pretty even, but like UNC Aiken, the few games that they have won, it has been through the bot lane. Like the bot lane gets 10 or 7 kills, and they're able to snowball through the that way. The meta is also kind of favoring that though. It is a very bot lane focused meta. I believe
Yes,
the top
yes,
side's very
definitely,
weak,
definitely.
so it's not a bad strategy to try to snowball through your bot lane like that.
Jax heavily out CSing Sejuani, but we can also see that in the pressure that Sejuani has had, getting 3 summoners this game compared to Jax having an unsuccessful gank.
And then the Sejuani also was able to pick up the kill off of it. So, yeah, the Sejuani might be a little behind in the CS, but they're probably about, he might be a little ahead of gold. And gold is, oh, maybe not because it was the first blood.
And we could see they're going in on the Dragon, the Jax rotating back down bot side. But the bot laners had backed, and we have John zoning over here, not even allowing the Jax to come in and potentially come for a steal. So it looks like this is going to be a free Dragon. The Thresh trying to get some wards, maybe trying to get a little bit. But we can see that the Thresh has been snared.
Oh, man,
Big damage on the Thresh. No way for the team to deal with that.
That's a great job right there by John. I mean, not
John
trying to do
running
too
out,
much.
Jax coming in for pressure. Great, great. May potentially lose a little bit of the CS here.
Yeah, but it's a free dragon. You give up three to four CS for
Oh,
a dragon, and he
definitely.
did an excellent job
And
there, not only zoning the Jax way, but then he did a good job of zoning the Thresh away as well.
Yep, definitely. It was a phenomenal play. The zoning is more crucial than the damage at that point. And John being a lot higher in CS. Hitting that. Oh, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. The cleanse coming through. Big damage, big damage. Aurelia falling. Jax taking a lot of damage. We can see that.
Oh,
but
something
Jax
like that.
getting kited out. Not actually having enough damage to get there. Sejuani picking up another kill. That's 1 kill for John, 2 assists. Both Sejuani and Zoe having 100% kill participation. And not only that, being ahead 25 CS. Sejuani now able to catch up. Gangplank coming in. Redemption falling down. A little bit
Gangplank's like
greedy of
ready
a
to
play
kill
from the Gangplank. A snare on the Gangplank.
The flash
and
coming
he's-
out again.
a big chunk of damage on the Gangplank. This is very bad for him. He's going to miss a ton of CS. Thresh coming in, probably not going
What
to be
is
able to
Thresh
do anything.
doing?
It is now a 2v1 in the bot lane. Jinx flashing out.
Oh, this is looking all like Georgia College has got this fully under control.
This game is slowly collapsing.
The gameplay right there, I mean, maybe it was a good idea to maybe force some pressure thinking that John was super low, but John kind of healed back up
John flashing
just because he can.
Yeah, just because he's Zoe and he can. And he's only able to hold 3 orbs. He has a redemption to heal himself up. Massive damage coming out from John onto the blue buff. Ooh, and he successfully gets it, almost letting it go. And we can see that the vision control is pretty heavily favored on Georgia College's side right now.
Well, Georgia College has, I mean, 2K early in game. I mean, that's an item and, at least some wards. So that's probably where that differential is coming from. But also, Georgia College just has a little bit more map pressure, I think, as well, and a little bit more
Yes,
freedom to
yes.
roam throughout the map
Yes,
to get those wards
John
down.
being ahead by 30 CS, our bot lane almost equal, top lane ahead by 26 CS at this point. We can see these numbers are like steadily increasing throughout the game. Jax potentially coming in for a gank in the mid lane. Zoe being a pretty good way to avoid the Jax stun. So
Yeah, Zoe's definitely really slippery, and I think that the only upside right now for USC Aiken is looking like it's going to be inside the bot
Jack's
lane.
not being able to close in.
Yeah, he's
Zoe
not going to be able to do anything
doing a
with
little
that.
bit of damage, and it may actually seem that big damage from John
Oh,
onto
no.
the Orianna.
Oh, the Orianna's
this
low.
is not looking
he
good
doesn't need
for
to
them.
overextend, though. He doesn't need to overextend.
This is
He's
not
still a
looking-
triple.
John about to
The
take
ult.
big damage, ends up killing, dodging. Is this a double kill?
Oh,
No, folks, it is not.
just enough
but
damage.
A lot of damage coming in. And we can see that this is still bad for the Orianna as she is ever so slowly falling deeper and deeper into this game. And we can see Anthony coming in to clear some of the CS.
Well, at this
missing
point, I think the
cannon.
Orianna is either going to have to try to play for real late game or just hope that her utility off of, her little bit of movement speed, the shield, and then the R is enough. I mean, you're not going to be able to get a lot of damage out of her. The game playing's also in a bit of a hole. The Jax is playing well, and then the bottom lane is playing well too, but is it going to be
A lot
enough?
of damage right there
to
from
cover it up.
Lulu. Lulu does massive amounts of damage. Totally a balanced champion.
Salt.
Look, man, I'm a support man.
Uh-oh.
Lulu's
What is this
anything
Sejuani
but
doing?
balanced. Sejuani, a lot of pressure. Jax
Oh, Jax is scared.
getting stunned right there. We can see a lot of tower damage coming in. Lulu leaning around the side. There's not really much they can do. Demolish onto the tower. An ult, and we can see another kill coming in
Oh, the
for
Gangplank
Nick
tried.
this time, which is extremely good for them. This bot tower going to
man.
fall inevitably. This is first blood.
First blood, first tower, first dragon, all coming in the favor of Georgia College so far. And Orianna in the mid lane,
from
another flash
Orianna,
coming
and
out.
The pressure is just incredible.
It seems
from
like
both
as
of
soon as
these
they're getting
teams.
them back up, they're just losing
They're
them.
losing them instantly, which is very good for our jungler.
Oh, in the top
especially.
lane. Uh-oh.
You see a fight
Kyle,
coming into
he's
the top
going
lane.
out. He's
Kyle
going to
doing
die
a lot
for
of
it. Oh,
damage,
okay, no.
but a very smart decision to not tower dive, forcing that Gangplank ult, but knowing that Gangplank is going to slow him and use his oranges to avoid any stun under the tower. So it's a sort of a bait tactic to get you to tower dive him when he's low, and then he heals up and slows you and just walks away like it's his job.
Yeah. Well, then it was a nice ult there, but I mean, again, it was the ult pressure. I mean, Gameplay didn't want to use his ult top lane on himself. He doesn't want to use that there.
Now he has nothing to do when when his friendly laners are in trouble. He cannot do anything about it. Gangplank, even slower, more damage coming in
Oh,
on the
Kyle's
Gangplank.
putting out a lot of
Kyle is
damage.
putting out a lot of damage, nearly finishing his Triforce, a very crucial item. And we can see
And
the
that mid
mid
lane's
tower
getting pressure
is taking
too.
a ton of damage as Orianna has died 3 times. We can see a little bit of a greedy play right there by Anthony. But
Well, Anthony's just trying to, at this point, zone him
map
off so they
pressure,
can
that
finish up the
second
tower.
Tower falling in the mid lane, a ton of pressure. It seems to be there's not much they can do. Kyle wailing down on that tower. That sheen that he has allows him to do extra damage to the tower after every ability he uses. And we can see Anthony leaning towards the top side as both other laners. We see a teleport coming in the bot lane. A gank,
no,
a
the
big
Orianna
ult,
coming out.
a
Oh, that's
cancel
my-
the teleport.
That's not going to look good for Georgia College.
Not
Zoe's
looking good
coming
for
over.
Georgia
She might hit
College.
she's not going to have time. She didn't get there soon enough. Baiting out the stopwatch, though.
A massive amount of damage on the Jax.
The Jax didn't see that one coming.
Did not expect that kind of damage. John's still coming in doing a bit of damage.
He's just keeping them there, just taking up their time. And, I mean, they're not really that scared of her, but they're definitely giving the Zoe the respect. I mean, she is putting out a lot of damage, so she
Putting out
definitely
a
deserves
lot
the
of
respect.
damage, definitely deserves respect. And you can see the Jinx on their team is going to be a little bit scary this game, having a ton of damage.
Well, the Jinx is going to be a little bit scary. Then she just picked up the double kill there. And I mean, like I have said, that they're trying to give the kills to the bot lane. They need their bot lane to succeed in order for them to win, which kind of still makes me a little bit worried about USC Aiken at this point.
Of course. It's a lot of damage coming in from that bot lane, and we can see a little bit of a greedy play by Anthony here.
Yeah, Anthony's just looking to disengage there. John's with the peel.
And
Lulu's there as
actually
well.
hitting
They might be
Gangplank.
looking to fight here.
They're looking to fight. Well, this is a 4v3, a bad fight.
Oh, they should've
John
gone in.
inevitably going to fall, flashing out. Lulu running away. Sejuani blocking. Nick coming in.
Oh, but no, Nick's there. Nick has ult. They could possibly do something here. They're going to start the dragon. They got all 5 members
They
there.
have all 5. Jinx being very low. Aurelia coming in, not having teleport. Tried to use it earlier for the bot lane. None of them having ult.
What's interesting here is that
Not
John
too
actually
much.
has the smite
And I
too.
think
So
they're
they got
actually going
two
to
smites.
backing out. They don't really seem like they want to do this anymore. An ult coming in.
Oh,
Lulu
no.
falling.
Massive
Massive
getting hit by the
damage.
CC.
Massive
The
damage.
ult coming
and
out from
it looks
bars.
like a team fight is going to go down, and it does not seem. The dragon still just wailing out damage. John being able to do a ton. John actually having smite.
Yeah, John having smite there. That's what I was talking about a
This
second
is
ago. That's big,
Even though
yes.
the jungler has fallen. This is big. The fact that he has still got smite and the zoning capabilities. inevitably
Alright.
pushing them off Dragon. But USC Aiken evening out the playing field ever so slightly by taking down 2 members of Georgia College.
Well, I think right there was a perfect example of Georgia College maybe just overextending a little bit there. I mean, even if you lose that Dragon, you're still in a good position to win the game, and they had the position on the Dragon prior to it. All 5 members there, and we were trying to play catch-up. I mean, they would have 3, we would have 2. Then we had 3, they had 4. Then we had 4, then they had 5, and we just couldn't really, match what they were bringing.
Yeah, their rotations were pretty good. Gangplank actually picking up that kill, Jinx getting 2 assists, and we can see that jungler CS is sort of evening out. John being extremely far ahead in CS.
Well, John's a
as
difference maker.
always.
That's what you have to think. I mean,
Yeah, he is 51 CS ahead right now. That is just quite the CS. I mean, same for the top lane, being literally the same difference, 52 CS ahead. Like, both of these laners just shutting down.
but at the same time, the Gangplank has a kill, and it's still kind of Gangplank. Like, he might not need all the CS and all the gold in the world, but, I mean, he just has this ability to do damage.
Well, we can see that they're playing a pretty heavy late game comp here at USC Aiken, so they're really banking on dragging this game out as long as they can. And honestly, we can expect the tower dive in the top lane. Jax leaning top side, but we do have Lulu and Varus because we have that map pressure of their towers being down.
Oh, they have no vision. But
They have
Georgia
no
College
vision.
just try
Georgia
something.
College is coming in.
Aurelia going in.
Aurelia
They're getting the
going
ult in.
And a flash from the Gangplank.
Oh, but the Varus ult being missed.
Varus all being missed.
Oh, Sejuani's taking a ton of damage from the tower.
Yeah, Sejuani taking a lot of damage, but Thresh having no ult. Jax attempting to dive in. Oh, a flash onto the Lulu. This could not be good. A big ultimate. Another team fight looking very sour. Varus putting out a massive amount. Jax falling. Jax taking massive damage. Kyle
Sejuani
coming
getting Jax.
in. A huge ultimate. Thresh nearly falling.
Varus is doing a lot of damage.
Varus doing a lot of damage.
Delore, oh, might be
Nick
overextending
doing a
again.
ton of damage. Another fall,
no.
but Nick falls. A polymorph onto the Orianna, and it looks like they will also take a bot tower from that trade.
So Georgia
Jinx-
College is going to be able to push them out, but they're going to get the bot.
Jinx continuously pushing, actually.
That
This could
wasn't
be-
very good for us
This could
then.
be a very, very bad trade. Someone needs to back to stop this pressure. This Jinx is just going to have a ridiculous amount of pressure. We will inevitably take that top tower, but still, Jinx having a ton of tower damage. This tier 2 tower is going to fall.
Oh, we have nobody back to rotate it yet. I
have
mean, the
nobody
Aurelia is
to
backing
rotate
right now.
that.
Here comes
So-
Varus to slow. That thing is gone by the time Varus gets there, so that tower might be
But
gone.
we are actually trading for the Rift, which is it's a pretty fair trade, but still,
There's 2 free towers there for the Jinx.
the Jinx getting 2 towers, and that is just not what you need. Jinx doing a ton of damage, and they're going to rotate and take Dragon.
What really bothers me about that fight is that, I think we kind of got the edge in that top lane fight there, but we barely got the edge, and their Jinx wasn't even there. And I
Well-
think their Jinx might be one of the scariest, if not the scariest member of their team right
I
now.
think it would have turned out a lot better had Anthony not taken multiple tower shots. The tower shots doing a ton of damage, So that was a huge deciding factor in that team fight. Our jungler taking half of their health in damage.
Yeah, but then he also he's the main tank as well. So
We are-
like Aurelia
we are
is
still up.
tanky, but like it's not Sejuani. Like, look at Sejuani right now,
Oh, actually, we took a tier 2 mid tower.
top lane.
No,
Oh, mid. Oh, when did we do that?
I didn't even
The
see
minions
that.
might have took that. The
I think-
minions.
I actually think John, before he rotated up, ended up taking that tower, making that trade very positive. John smartly hitting that vision orb, catching their entire team in the jungle, trying to play a little cheeky move on him, attempting to steal that blue buff.
I was between him and
having
Orianna,
vision.
and the Sejuani's there as well.
Jax
So
being around.
Orianna's not
This
going to be able to
could be
contest
a little
that.
bit of a greedy play. Orianna getting hit by that massive damage potentially coming in. John getting stunned, but
The
still.
thresh- Oh, no, the
a
ult.
miss.
That might have been a
That
little
would have been
premature
a
right
very
there.
deadly ult.
That would have been though. That he would have been caught out with no way to escape because the Thresh
A lot
just
of
got
pressure
thrown.
coming into the bot lane right now. Rift Herald being summoned, forcing everyone to come down. Have a ton of pressure on the map. Demolished from our jungler. A lot of damage coming in onto that tower. Massive damage. This tier 2 tower looking like it's about to fall. Jinx just throwing in damage. An ultimate from the Orianna. A flash out. A lot of damage on that Thresh. That tower not quite falling.
The next wave of thing will be down though. It'll be down.
It will be. But
What's going on in the
a lot of
top
damage.
lane?
Not too much going on to the top lane right now. Just a little bit of pressure from Aurelia, just keeping the gangplank down, making sure he has no time to free farm, always having consistent pressure on him. 2 whole levels ahead. Aurelia finishing that Triforce. She is deadly right now. A lot of pressure
Alright,
on the
that
bot
wave's
lane.
coming in
Bot
that
tower
bot lane.
falling in asleep on the a knock-up on the Orianna. Nothing coming from it. Jinx actually finishing massive damage on the Orianna. And she will not fall, living with 17 health. Very close.
Just barely getting away. But
Barely
Georgia College is
getting
going to be able
away.
to probably
A
get something
rotation
from
onto
this.
the blue buff
Is
coming
the
in.
dragon up? I mean, no drag up yet.
Not
The
yet.
Baron's live, but
Baron is live, but it may be a little bit too early. Kyle roaming down. They have vision in this jungle.
Kyle
He
might be in
knows-
trouble here.
He should be okay. A lot of rotation coming up. Gangplank not really going to be able to do anything to stop him.
Kyle might be in trouble here too.
he's-
Gangplank's coming.
He's okay, but we have a whole team rotating up. Lulu just zooming across the map with her boots of mobility and her Aether Wisp, giving her a ton of movement speed. Thresh about to take a little bit of damage. Nope, missing it.
Just outside
Just
of the
outside
range.
the range. Just
Yeah.
outside the range. The next move for Georgia College at this point would be to rotate top, put pressure in the bot lane, rotate top, and take that bot tower. Just traditionally, you want to take all of those outer tier towers before you start to pressure inward. The enemy having no vision on the Baron, they could have sneaked a little cheeky Baron play.
I mean, even if the thing is, if you force that fight at Baron though, assuming that they're going to be able to rotate down as they just play some ward down there, I mean, can Georgia College decisively win that fight, or is that kind of just like giving USC Aiken that 50-50 when Georgia College has a little bit of the momentum here?
If Georgia College was to start the Baron at this point, I do not believe they would be able to win that fight just because of the amount of damage Baron does 22 minutes into the game. We can see Thresh camping out the jungle waiting for an overstep.
I mean, the Sejuani has been really roaming around this Baron, like she's been playing around
Sejuani
the
hiding
pit.
right behind that wall.
Oh.
Sejuani hitting the Jinx. Jinx taking a massive amount of damage.
Die. That's
Can't
huge.
even do
Oh, that's
anything.
huge.
2 kills, and this looks like we will be getting a Baron
Georgia
from
College
this.
needs that Jax down. They needed that Jax.
Aurelia pressuring the bot lane. 3 here. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. Orianna taking a ton of damage. Kyle pushing the bot tower, forcing them to rotate, starting the Baron, and they can't do anything. 2 dead. A phenomenal play. Kyle pressuring the bot tower, escaping narrowly as they all
Kyle's going
try
to escape, but they're going to
rotate.
get the Baron.
And Baron will be given to Georgia College 23 minutes into the game, which is a massive play. The amount of gold Baron gives your team, increasing that gold lead. Georgia College ahead by, 7.3k gold right now. 3 towers ahead.
I mean, they were just barely ahead, only 3K before that fight, though. And they didn't really take the 50-50 there. They just kind of caught him out of position, like, hey, my whole team is here, and then they locked you down. I mean, the thing is, they focused it really well. Like, the Varus ulted the Jinx. The Sejuani ulted the Jinx. John put all of his damage into the Jinx. Like, they definitely said, Jinx, 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 Jinx. We're going to focus down
And that
kill
was
her.
a smart play. They knew that Jinx would be a menace in that team fight, being the most farmed person on their team. Having a lot of tower damage done actually by Kyle to that bot tower, which is pretty good. And the game has been paused,
Oh, yeah.
so
We'll have to wait on that.
yeah, we'll have to wait on that.
I mean, this has been a pretty good game, though. I mean, USC Aiken's definitely still in it. Georgia College has a slight advantage right there, and I
Slight
think
advantage,
that
but-
advantage kind of got opened up a little bit more after that Baron fight.
The Baron is definitely a game changer. We will see how they decide to utilize this Baron. Most likely, we're going to see a pressure in the bot lane and a push in the mid to collect that mid tower and middle inhib, which just opens up the map for everything. They have no towers to stop you. You can go straight into their base and just push them back further and further. And that bot tower already having a ton of damage, we can expect to see a split push from Kyle playing Aurelia, and he will just continuously pound down that tower, being so much farther ahead than this Gangplank, ahead by roughly 90 CS.
Oh, yeah, but Aurelia has been all over the Gangplank all game. It's been kind of interesting, that matchup. I mean, maybe like on paper, Gangplank's better, but Kyle and Aurelia has just been really good this game. I mean, not really with the kills, not performing the highlight plays, but a lot of pressure all game, whether it's top lane or it's in the bot lane.
Definitely.
Just all over this Gangplank, really.
Game being resumed now. And now we're going to see how they decide to utilize this Baron. John pressuring the mid lane and sneaking through the jungle, taking care of all those wards, not allowing them to have any vision, which is crucial.
I'm expecting some type of split here to try to get I think you need that top tower, and that's where Aurelia is going right now, to the top lane with the Gangplank to go, mess with that top tower. And then I mean, either you go mid or you go bot, and I think they might even try to go all 3 and just go 1-3-1 or something like that.
They got a 1-1-3 going on. It's a little weird, but still, John sort of leaning towards the middle, having a pink ward placed right there. There's nothing they can do about this vision, so don't really have too much vision of them. But Kyle has Aurelia, but so does Gangplank.
But the Gangplank's going to rotate down, and he might get, maybe not.
Thresh stepping up to clear those wards. Having a little bit of pressure right there. A little bit of zone. Slight damage. A ton of damage onto the Orianna. Man. Forcing her back. She's going to have to back on.
She's going to have to back before she can even get the ult out. So if they can put some pressure on this tower.
Pressuring that bot tower. Getting the Gangplank ultimate, which is huge. Allowing so much pressure.
And that Gangplank still might die.
The Gangplank being very low health. You can see I will keep leaning on that bot side. Kyle pressuring that tower. Gangplank not really being able to do too much against Aurelia.
That bot tower's going to go down.
Bot tower going down. Jax flashing out. Redemption falling down, but it's not really necessary at that point. John getting hooked. Jax coming in. Huge Orianna ult.
Oh no.
Orianna missing her ultimate.
Thresh is one hit.
Orianna not. Sejuani going, sorry about the misstatement. Orianna missing that ultimate completely. John using his ultimate to dodge that. That reaction time is crazy. Aurelia running in, doing a ton of damage to the tower as you see Demolish on the tower. Going in on this game.
This is it.
A little bit of damage. And it looks like there's not much they're going to be able to do. 2 from Georgia College coming down. A huge ultimate by the Jinx. Nick getting flayed inward. Another tower not falling quite yet.
If USC Aiken can keep this tower alive, no way though. Sejuani's right there knocking. It's one hit. It's one hit, guys.
Kyle overstepping a little bit, having to back off. Jinx doing a ton of damage.
That Jinx ult doing just enough, dude.
Not really being able to do too much. Taking another tower, not getting the inhibitor, but still taking one of their tier. Their Nexus towers. That top tower potentially about to fall to minions on this next wave. You can see a lot was accomplished, and we can see Georgia College rotating towards that dragon, which they are.
They did a lot of damage right there with that Baron. They didn't take the top tower, but they did take the bottom one. They took the bottom inhibitor. They took the mid one, and they took one of the Nexus turrets. And they pretty much took 2 of them. I mean, they not pretty much, because having a Nexus tower and not having a Nexus tower is a big difference. But it's definitely like within, how much health?
This is 2 shots from an 80 carry.
700 health. That's nothing at this point in the game.
It's literally 1 Zoe auto attack with Lichbane that will actually be Zoe uses a Q auto and it will take down the tower. So at this point, John having 293.
And this Gangplank might have just overextended. He might have just...
He's quite overextended, but he knows that our team has backed. And honestly, if you look, we still have both of our mid and top towers.
Yeah, so a lot of missed gold there on the table still.
A lot of gold on the table. And something else you can see is the only lane where they do have towers and pressure is a lane where we currently have super minions pressuring. Allowing us an opportunity to pressure other lanes, maybe more specifically mid lane, or even collecting a little gold from that top tower, which is actually 1 shot.
Yeah, that thing is actually 1 shot in the top lane.
We can see Kyle keeping that mid lane pressured.
I think they're going to go for that top lane play, like you said. I mean, just go ahead and knock it down, hit it a couple times.
Yeah, he's just tanking.
And that's it.
And they're autoing it. It's done. Yeah,
they don't have the Baron anymore, so you don't have the Baron empowered minions, but you definitely still have a lot of extra force because you just have 10k more gold.
Gangplank taking a ton of damage, having to use his oranges, now very susceptible to being taken down. Zoning by the Zoe is just, there's not much they can do. Another tower falling, Gangplank taking a ton of damage, ulting down, falling, and we can see the pressure coming in. Thresh, a big Orianna ulti, maybe game changing, a double kill for John. Lulu. Nick taking a ton of damage, but inevitably most of the team falling down.
As soon as they get the Jinx, though.
And that is a clean ace.
The ace is going
to do it. And the game is now over.
I mean, the Orianna ult was good. I think Thresh did a pretty good job at that fight, too. And then they killed Nick. I just think that the Jinx overextended.
Lulu ult. Go ahead, Orianna ult, and Lulu will just heal them back up. Shield doesn't matter. Lulu is just such a strong champion, being able to counter any damage that you are willing to throw. Nearly at the late game, full healing most squishies back up to full. It is just incredible. Also giving them a knock-up and the shield with Airy, incredibly strong. Georgia College taking the W. Going into advanced details, we can see some more statistics here. Aurelia actually not having too much damage in that game, 10.5k. Shortly followed by Sejuani at 9.3k. John, top of the charts.
Sejuani did a lot of damage.
John, nearly doing the same amount of damage single-handedly as the entire other team combined, short by 5,000 or so damage. But
Wow.
You know, that's that's
Wow, John.
that is. Zoe is not even that AOE heavy of a champion, and honestly, you can see their AP AOE mid laner, AOE standing for area of effect, meaning they can hit multiple targets with the same spell. They're not single target spells. We can see that Orianna, being one of the strongest AOE champions in the game, having a very little amount of damage, which just shows you the oppression that John put on them.
Well, it was
Jinx,
John and the
actually
Sejuani. I
really
mean,
low.
and looking at that, the Sejuani had 9,300 damage, and the Orianna only had 94. So, I mean, Anthony and John, whatever the synergy they got going in the mid lane, they
Very
they
good.
got it going on right now.
I think Anthony, you know, he sees that John is always John's map awareness is probably some of the best that I've seen on our team. Probably some of the best, except for maybe the jungler, whose job it is to make shot calls like that. But going back down, we can see our vision score. Let's see, Aurelia placing 19 wards. Our jungler placing 57 wards. If you just look at the ward placement by both teams, you will see the difference in what it is. Thresh placing 49 wards, which is phenomenal, 10 more than ours. But look at the difference in the jungler's wards. Jax placing 15. And the thing about Jax is he uses wards to jump. So he is not necessarily always getting wards for vision. So that ward score being a little manipulated on him, not actually truly reflecting how much he was particularly warding.
But shouldn't that mean he's throwing more wards then?
But what happens if you throw a ward in a lane? It's pointless.
okay.
You see what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
not much point to throwing a ward in the dead center of a lane. Yes, it helps you escape, but
I mean, but he only placed 8 wards compared to Sejuani's 27, though. So,
still, yeah, we can see, everybody on our team, even our jungler placing as many wards as the enemy support. So
oh yeah, that's an issue. All right, we're gonna
that's just a big issue.
really we need to go ahead and get into the lobby again before we take a little break in between the games. But I mean, just some final thoughts from the first game.
Yeah, we can see that, John, per usual, doing a ton of damage in the mid lane, always kind of sort of guiding the team through these games, helping them successfully conquer these teams over and over. The amount of pressure he had this game was intense. Nick actually doing a ton of damage himself.
Oh yeah, I mean Nick. I mean their bot lane, like I said earlier in the game, USC Aiken wins their games through their bot lane. So even if Nick isn't smashing, if Nick is going neutral, and then top lane is winning per usual, and then mid lane is winning per usual, we're gonna win almost every time.
Yeah, well, we kind of actually chose a team that was pretty heavy on the early game side, but we definitely punished. We won almost every lane. So
Yeah, and then the junglers. I mean,
staying even in bot lane, but not necessarily winning, but not losing by any means.
no, it wasn't. It was a good game all around. We're gonna take a short break right now. Leave this screen up for you guys. We'll be right back, probably as they get into Champion Select.
Should be at 10 minutes from now, so at 4:30.
Yeah, you're listening to GC Lowell on the Bobcat Broadcast Network.